everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm bringing you another what I eat in a day as a vegan. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Amino Apps, who I've previously teamed up with on a video. You guys loved it because so many of you use vegan Amino as well as me. If you're new to it, Amino is a mobile network of communities for any and every interest, from all things vegan to fashion to makeup. And if you're looking to find others to share your favourite interests with, it's the place to be. I love the community on there as it's a really good way to meet others, see what everybody else is sharing, and also to help anyone who is new to veganism. Vegan Amino is for everyone who is living the vegan lifestyle, or even for those of you who are looking to go vegan. And the community is a great place to find tips for living as a healthy vegan. On Vegan Amino, you can browse a curated feed of content from other users, take quizzes and vote on polls. Everyone is always sharing recipes or new vegan foods they've found. I always get so excited when I'm scrolling through and I see you guys sharing my videos. You can also see what's happening at that very moment. There's always something going on. For example, 158 people here were reading posts. You can join text or voice chats and talk about things in common or share recommendations. You guys can also come and find me over on my profile. You can post any of my recipes that you've recreated on there, or you can even post your own unique recipes on my profile that you'd like to share with me. Okay, so on to what I had for breakfast. First thing, I had this blueberry breakfast bowl. I actually made this up the night before by adding 1/4 of a cup of fresh blueberries, 1/2 a cup of coconut milk, and a tablespoon of Coconut Merchant's coconut nectar honey alternative into my blender, and I blended those up until smooth. I then added 3 tablespoons of chia seeds to a bowl, then poured in the blueberry milk and stirred it through well. I then placed that in the fridge to set overnight, and in the morning I took it out of the fridge. I then placed some leftover stewed blueberries on top, some coconut yogurt and some fresh blueberries, and then I finished it with a little bit of hemp granola on the top. I hadn't had a chia pudding for such a long time, and they're just such a quick and easy breakfast option when you make it up the night before. I wanted to do something a little bit different though, hence blending the fruit with the milk. And you could do this with strawberries or raspberries, they'd both work really well too. With the different textures from the stewed blueberries, the fresh blueberries, the coconut yogurt and the granola on top, it was actually really nice. I didn't actually have anything between breakfast and lunch, but for lunch I made this loaded sweet potato flatbread. I first preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius. I then peeled and chopped up a large sweet potato into cubes. I then placed those in a small baking dish, drizzled over 2 teaspoons of olive oil, and then mixed that through. I next added in 1 teaspoon of onion granules, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of dried thyme, a pinch of chilli flakes, and seasoned well with some salt and black pepper. I turned that through really well again, and then I placed that in the oven to roast for around 30 minutes, shuffling it halfway through. Just before those were ready, I warmed up this whole wheat Mediterranean style flatbread in a griddle pan, and then I also had these small baby gem lettuces, which I brushed with a little oil from some sun-dried tomatoes, and then I charred them on the hot griddle pan. I then spread a load of hummus on the flatbread, added on the charred baby gem lettuce. I then removed the sweet potato from the oven and added that on top. I used about half and saved the other half for lunch the next day. I then added on some chopped sun-dried tomatoes, a little bit of rocket, a little drizzle of some balsamic vinegar, and then a pinch of chili flakes. This was such a good lunch. All of the flavours complemented each other so nicely. You all know I'm into my loaded toast and things at the moment. I am eating a lot of the same kind of lunches, so apologies if it gets kind of repetitive, but as soon as I saw these flatbreads, I just knew that I wanted to load them up. You can add anything you like if you create something like this. There are endless combinations. You can even wrap them up too. I started off by eating it with my cutlery, but then I was just enjoying it so much. It's one of those messy meals that I just decided to scoop it all up and eat it that way. For something in the afternoon as a little snack, I had one of these new, the Almond Collaborative yogurts. It is actually the Coconut Collaborative brand, but they've just come out with these almond milk and oat milk yogurts, which is so exciting. I went for one of the raspberry almond milk yogurts, which is a plain almond milk yogurt with a raspberry compote at the bottom. Really delicious. I like adding toppings into my yogurts, so to this one I added some chopped fresh strawberries and also a small handful of some flaked almonds. For me, it just makes it a bit more of a filling snack, a good way to sneak some more fruit into, and you can really play with whatever fruits, nuts, seeds and snacks you add on the top. Scrolling through the recipes on Vegan Amino, I realised how much I wanted to make some kind of burrito meal for dinner, like this burrito bowl here. I decided to actually make something similar, but with the wrap as a topping. And so for dinner, I then made a burrito plate. For this, I first heated 2 teaspoons of oil in a large pan on a medium heat. I then chopped 1 white onion and added it into the pan. Next, I minced 3 cloves of garlic and added those in too, and then fried everything off until soft. Next, I added in a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of dried herbs and a teaspoon of chili powder. I then mixed those through the onion and garlic. I wanted a bit more spice, so I added in a chopped red chilli, and then 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, and fried those off for a few minutes until it all began to smell very fragrant. I then added in a tin of chopped tomatoes, 4 cups of vegetable stock, a cup of rinsed brown rice, seasoned it really well with some salt and black pepper, and then stirred it all through. I then left that to boil and for the rice to cook for around 25 minutes. Meanwhile, I made a guacamole using 2 small mashed avocados, 1 chopped small red onion, 2 salad tomatoes that I'd chopped up, 2 cloves of minced garlic and a handful of fresh coriander. I then squeezed in the juice of a lime, added in a pinch of chili flakes and seasoned with salt and black pepper. Then I mixed that all together. At this point the rice was cooked, and so I then added in 1 can of rinsed black beans, a can of rinsed pinto beans and a can of rinsed kidney beans, along with 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. I then mixed those through the rice for a few minutes and then I turned off the heat. I then took a sweet potato wrap and sliced it up into shreds, then placed those on a lined baking tray under the grill to toast. It was around 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes they were really nice and crispy. I then added the guacamole into the rice and only carefully turned it through. I then dished up the kind of chili and rice between our plates, and then on the top I added the crispy shredded wrap, some cocoa dairy free coconut yogurt and some more fresh chopped coriander. I've never actually mixed guacamole through a chili before, but it actually made it so creamy and brought all of the flavours together, although it did get kind of lost in it, so if you want to add it on the top you can. The toasted shredded wraps are so good as a topping. They add some crispiness, and it was just a different way to create a burrito bowl or plate. I used coconut yogurt on the top, as I said, but you could use some vegan sour cream. You could also add on some freshly made salsa, melt on some vegan cheese. Again, it's a dish you can really mix up every time and get creative with. And then for dessert, I had some of this Doisy and Down maple toasted rice and pink salt snacking dark chocolate. I've actually tried their chocolate bars before and don't remember them being that great, but this was so good. I love any kind of chocolate with toasted rice, and the salt works so well with the bitterness of the dark chocolate. I like that they're little pieces, and I kept them in the fridge so that they were nice and chilled. That's it for another day on my plate. Don't forget to come and find me over on Vegan Amino. The link is in the description box below, as well as the recipes. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!